What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. And I'm here with my beautiful, sexy wife. Say hi, boo.
Hi everyone, this is Akti and I'm from Turkey, and today we are reviewing A Patch of Blue.
Yes, they made a movie about how Acti and I met. That's the genre.
Yes, I was white trash and I was blind. And I said, I love you, Simon.
And I said, they are mixed up. No, don't call yourself white trash. No, you're smarter than me.
And I'm not white trash.
Yes,
no.
yes, you're not white trash. You're Turk trash. I'm sorry, that was even worse. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm
this
sorry.
is just a roasting session.
No. I was trying to be cute.
I am a regular old girl from Turkey.
Exactly.
I am not trash.
Exactly. And I have to say, you're smarter than me. I want to start this review before we even jump in. I want to apologize to you because on our previous episode, 138, for One Battle After Another, I was very vehement in saying Perfidia shot first. No, Perfidia didn't shoot first. Jungle Pussy shot the security guard. But upon watching the movie again, you were absolutely right. And I want to say I'm sorry for being like that. You know what I mean?
Okay,
with you.
you're forgiven. Don't do it again.
Okay, all right. Anyway, so this is a 1965 classic film starring Sidney Poitier as a young black man trying to help a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, blind girl, I guess, is a way to summarize it. She comes from a sort of like white trashy type of family, and Sidney Poitier puts the Mac on her to end up saving her life, I guess. So that's a kind of quick summary of this film, though it is a very historic film. Before turning on this review, we were watching a bit of the history of it. It was made from a book that came out in 1961. The studio that made it, MGM, was going through like transition where they were going from making like family, wholesome, kind of like conservative type films to more like social justice type films. And this was a major film. This was Sidney Poitier's first film after winning Best Actor, making him the first black man ever to win that in the Oscars, and for Lilies in the Field. So this is another reason why this film is like widely lauded and appraised because this was released during Sidney Poitier's height of his career. You know what I mean? And I think it comes right before Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, probably his most famous film, I would say, a film that we reviewed before. So what did you think about this film? We watched it a few weeks ago, and I just watched it again this morning.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on it?
I mean, this is a Sidney Poitier fan house. So the first time I watched him was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and his charisma is just so like enticing, you know. And he could just stare at the screen and I could watch him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And like he's such a good actor. And yeah, so I was already going into this with like kind of high expectations in terms of just like acting. And I didn't really know the plot at all the first time I watched it. And I really enjoyed it. It's like a wholesome family movie. But it has like a little bit of, social political commentary in it. And also the lady who was playing Selena,
yeah,
Shelley Winters, she's also
no, that's Elizabeth Hartman.
Oh, Selena. Sorry. Okay.
This is the one time I'm right.
Yes. So Elizabeth Hartman is also really good. And the other actors are really good as well. So yeah, I liked it the first time a lot, and then second time I watched it, I laughed a lot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so the first time we watched it, we were both sort of like on the edge of our seats on like what's going to happen next, and the drama had us captivated. But then the second time you watch it, and then you catch the little jokes that are in there in the dialogue. You know what I mean? Like you told me, like the funniest part for you, I think, was when he was going to the supermarket with Selena. And then she said, "Am I going to be a bother?" And he said, "You might be, or you sure will be," or something like that.
Yes, you will be, but just come along.
And other stuff. And other times, maybe you laugh at it because of maybe the dialogue and stuff like that, because it is a film over 50 years old. So the language has changed. And there's like a part for me I thought was funny when Selena said, "I can't stop gulping." And she just has this like really folksy Midwestern accent that to me sounds like out of time and place, because I've never heard an accent like that in all my years of Americanness.
I mean, mostly I laughed with it because Sidney Poitier's character makes a lot of like sarcastic comments and jokes.
Mm.
So like I think he was funny as a character. The only time I think I laughed at it was when Sidney Poitier also just started randomly singing opera out of nowhere, and I'm like, well, okay, this is getting a bit musical.
Yeah. So, but speaking of the other actors, the woman who plays Selena's mother, Shelley Winters, she ended up winning an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for this film. This film was also nominated for like, you know, Best Film, Best Screenplay, Best Actor nod for Sidney Poitier, and also like Elizabeth Hartman, but only Shelley Winters won a role. And I kind of feel a way about that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yes, Shelley Winters is great in this film as Roseanne, but you know, I feel like the Academy Awards always go to white people that just are racist to black people on screen. You know what I mean? And there's, you know, like Sidney did win an award for being an upstanding, you know, proud black man that we could root for on screen. You know what I'm saying? But it seems it was like also in the I think the film Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, the woman who played the mother of the girl won an Academy Award for doing the same thing, kind of being like racist towards her future son-in-law. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I think honestly, like, yes, Sidney Poitier is great in this movie, but I think actually like Elizabeth Hartman deserved more of an Oscar than Shelley Winters because she was more like a bigger role in the movie, and I think like, you know, she did capture playing a blind girl, and that's kind of hard, and she was young as well, so I would say like she kind of deserved it more.
I kind of a bit disagree because I feel like her character Selena be doing too much seeing shit to be really considered a blind girl. Like there's a part of this
directorial, you know, input.
Like the stuff they have Selena doing in this film is almost unbelievable. Like she lights a match perfectly for your cigarette.
Yeah, because she lights it all the time to cook and to light the stove.
Probably. Well, that's another thing. They got her cooking all the time.
Because she knows her house. You can go around.
You ever think she'd be mixing up? Oh, geez, I didn't put salt in it. That was rat poison. I'm so sorry, Roseanne. Wow. Oh, no, there's salt in your coffee. I meant to grab sugar, Roseanne.
Probably has a system.
She has a system. She didn't even know Braille. I'm sorry, we're jumping ahead in this film. I like this film, but there are some plot holes in it when you start thinking about it. And I think we'll discuss that as we go through the story. But nevertheless, I still love this film, love Sidney Poitier in general. Yeah. And I would argue, I think this film is better than Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
I like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner more.
Okay. Well, let's jump into this story. Here, let's go scene by scene. So we meet this girl. Her name is Selena. She lives in this very, very small apartment. It's a studio where there are no different rooms, right? And she's like feeling around the house, and she's been making beads on strings, I guess, to make jewelry and stuff like that. And then this woman comes home, who we find out is her mother, and her name is Roseanne. And Roseanne says, I've been standing up all week, and where the hell is my dinner, girl? And, you know, the way that they talk to each other, we can tell that there's not a lot of love in this house. And also the fact that Selena doesn't call Roseanne mom, she calls her by her name. And so we also get to meet Old Pa as well. And Old Pa is like a drunk bastard. All he does is drink, and he comes home and he argues with his own daughter, because he's the father of Roseanne, and he calls her like a fat loudmouth pig, and then her daughter calls her like an old drunk bastard, and it's just all hell in this house. But they all, Roseanne and Old Pa, agree that they sort of hate Selena. So whatever problems they have between each other, they always say, "Shut up, Selena," and treat her like shit. And I believe Selena is like begging to go to the park at the beginning of the film. And, you know, Roseanne does not like that. She's telling her, you do not need to be going there. You know, you're wasting your time. What the hell are you going to do in the park, you blind, you know, witch, whatever, all types of stuff. And I believe she ends up convincing Old Pa to take her to the park the next day. But as you see right here in this scene, you know, Selena is saying like, my face, what's wrong with my face? And Roseanne says, nobody wants to see you with your ugly face. I'd stay inside all day if I were you. So yeah, it's just nasty.
Just toxic.
What do you think of the opening scenes when we get to meet the family?
I mean, obviously, I don't think Opa hated Selena, but he took advantage of her, just how like Roseanne did. So he was like back and forth with it. Sometimes nice to her, and sometimes not so nice to her.
He's nicer than Roseanne.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to say, 1960s working woman outfits fire throughout. Like I feel like Roseanne, like with her little nightgowns, even though I hate the character, I thought like she was dressing kind of fire. But yeah,
you like the pointy bra?
Not the pointy bra, but I like the suit skirt thingies, you know, with the snatched waist.
Okay,
that looks cool, I think. But anyway. I like the fact that they sort of gave us this look into a working, like lower to middle class family, I would say. You know, old Pa is about to die soon and he's still working, maybe probably in a factory. Same with Roseanne, like she's probably working in a factory and things like that. It doesn't excuse how they treat Selena, of course, or how bad people they are, but it's just like showing us a little bit of the struggle. And I think it made us sympathize just a little bit. At least for me, I was like, I understand like that she was probably working from 7 a.m. until like 7 p.m. In a factory making shoes or something, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Old Pa. He was played by this actor, Wallace Ford, and this was his last role. He died the following year. And that also sort of parallels Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, because I believe the man who played the father of the girl who was getting married to Sidney Poitier's character also died the following year. So there's a lot of like levels and layers, overlapping themes, occurrences, I guess. But this whole house felt like an Eminem song. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just white trash hell. And yeah, man, the way they were abusing Selena, I was like, who could do that to their blind daughter? You know what I'm saying? And when we were watching this video breaking down the history of this film, the woman who played Shelley Winters, the woman who played Roseanne, Shelley Winters, says, I tried to like all of my characters, but I couldn't even like Roseanne. Like I hated this character that I had to play. And yeah, that was it's so interesting how sometimes the best performances come out of like the worst types of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I have to say, like, I did not understand that actually Roseanne was Selena's mother until like a bit later, because in Turkey it's not common to call your parents by their first name. And I thought maybe she's just like her aunt or something.
Yeah.
That her parents died and she has to stay with her.
Yeah, maybe an aunt, maybe a wicked stepmother, something like that.
I was guessing, but I didn't like put my finger on it exactly.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out later why Roseanne has such a deep hatred for Selena. But until then, we get to the park, right? And at the park, Selena is asking questions about colors because she wasn't born blind. She actually, we find out, became blind in her young adult years. And she still remembers some colors like blue. She says the sky is blue. I kind of remember that. But what's green, Old Pa? And then Old Pa says, green is green, stupid. Same as the trees. Now sit your ass down. And when Selena sits under the tree, she's working on the beads. But she has like this dream where she's like free and she can see and she's just running around in the field and forest and just enjoying the beauty of life. And Acti made this funny meme here. Can you tell us what it says?
Yeah, it's like how you imagine the American dream, and then what's it really like? You're just like working hard.
Yeah. So, the way they got Elizabeth Hartman to play Selena, this was her first movie ever, and her first movie after like working on plays and off-Broadway productions and stuff like that. And she does have this like sort of like naive, happy-go-lucky girl next door type of character to her, which feels really good for the part. I don't know if there were any other actresses back then who could nail it like this. You know what I'm saying? Because she doesn't come across as stupid or a character that you can't understand. It's just like you want somebody to save her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just like she doesn't know. She doesn't have any experience in the world. But she's not dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like just this part, especially in the park where like a leaf falls on her and she's like touching the leaf and like putting it on her mouth, feeling it, and like asking about colors, it really made me think like some of the things I take for granted as a person who's able to see things, right? Yeah. So I think that's why like she did it very well, like making the audience think like, oh, well, like what is it like to be blind?
And I also have to say, like, I really like the music in this film, and in general, what I really love about films is good scores. And in these old classic films from like the 60s, 70s, 50s, whatever, they have like full orchestral scores. Do, 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 do. Do, do, like the strings, it brings the emotion to life. And I also really like the dialogue here too. There's really only 4 characters in this film. You have Selena, Old Pa, Roseanne, and then we get to meet Gordon. And Gordon commits a sexual assault the first time we see him.
Don't say that.
He straight up sees this young girl and says, "Hey, girl, let me reach down your dress."
Wow, that's not true.
Anyway, no. Basically, Selena's sitting under the tree, and then a caterpillar falls down her back of her shirt, and she can't reach it. And so, out of nowhere, Sidney Poitier appears because whenever a white woman is in distress, Sidney Poitier is at his best, and so. He gets the caterpillar out of her back and says, "I got it. It's okay." You know, but then he gets up and knocks down her beads, and I'm like, this man is running the ultimate game. He knows he's on it. You know what I mean?
I mean, at first he doesn't really know that she's blind, and I think like even he makes a joke there, like even a blind person can do it or something.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But he basically appears out of nowhere and ends up talking with her a bit. You know, when he stands up, she says, "Gee, you sound very tall." And I think that's when he found out that she was blind or something like that. Or maybe she said, "I'm blind. I have to work on this." I forgot exactly. But, you know, he says, I'm 6 foot. And you're probably like 5'4", pocket size. And, and
he's correcting her grammar.
Yeah, he's correcting her grammar. You know, she says things are mixed up, and he's like, things are all mixed up. And those scenes right there like really show like the I think, of course, it's anybody can catch it. Like, you know, the way we're taught is that, you know, Black people are dumb and unsophisticated and speaking broken English, right? And white people are naturally superior and stuff like that, like the very basics of racism, right? And then here comes, you know, Gordon, the character right here, speaking perfect English, not coming from supposedly like a broken family or home like Selena, right? And also showing virtue by being caring and generous and empathetic and helping this blind person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a very like on the nose type of commentary, so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think I can add anything to it. This just, this movie kind of like puts it all like the usual stereotypes on its back.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Showing how like, you know, these stereotypes are just creations and myths and not really based in reality.
Yeah.
So Selena then goes to talk about how she became blind, and essentially, once upon a time, long ago, maybe about 10 years ago, because Selena looks about 16, 17 in the film. So maybe when she was around 6 or 7, her mom was sleeping with another man. At the same time, her real dad knocked on the door after he came back from fighting in the war, maybe World War II or something like that. And so her father ends up fighting the man who made him a cuckold. And Roseanne, Selena's mother, ends up throwing a bottle of what looks like some maybe dangerous acid or liquid, I don't know, across the room to stop the guys from fighting in the apartment. And it lands in Selena's face and slices up her face, right? And they say that she has a scar on her face and her eyes are messed up, but I don't see the scar. Do you see it?
No, I think it's just maybe her eyes.
Yeah, I mean,
Like her eyes are like lighter here, and then when she was dreaming, they were darker. So
really.
maybe it was just it's just her eyes.
Mm. So, what did you think of the part when, she told the story about how she became blind?
First of all, I was like, girl, why are you trusting anyone? And second of all, I just hated like Roseanne more
Yeah,
because how could you be the responsible person for her blindness and then still treat her like shit, you
yeah, that
know?
was wicked.
Yeah, so
I mean, Roseanne is doing the worst thing. She cheats on her husband. She hates her daughter. She's
yeah, she has like no good bone in
no,
her body.
no, and those are some very big bones she has. But yeah, that was a crazy story, right? And I like the way the action is done in that scene. It's like done as a flashback, but it's still, this is a black and white film, as you can see. I don't even know if films were in color back then. But if the choice was to make it in black and white, I feel like, those dark scenes when it's like, the contrasting lights makes it so like the memories are even darker,
Yeah.
so that's ill. But moving forward, right? So basically, Gordon, hears her story and says, "Woo, that was something. Well, I gotta go." And so Gordon leaves, which is actually kind of funny. It's like, damn, it's like you're at the bar and some guy is just going off about his bitch ex-wife, and you're like, okay, yeah.
I'll take off.
But anyway, he goes to the pharmacy to buy some stuff for himself. And then he sees like some sunglasses. So he brings some sunglasses back to Selena and says, there, now that ugly scar is gone, you're now very pretty. And she says, God, gee, Willikers, I'm pretty? I don't think so. No, you're a very pretty girl. And look at Gordon just taking pity on the poor whites. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, she says, what's this wonderful drink? It's pineapple juice. Oh, really? Pineapple juice. She's just so surprised about everything in such a cute type of way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we can imagine that because like she's this lower class family, she's coming from that family. Plus, she doesn't go out that much. Probably like Roseanne is not buying her pineapple juice, right? And she's probably just eating like eggs, bread, and probably that's it. Maybe some chicken sometimes.
Yeah, she probably
and mayonnaise.
She looks very underfed, at least from the 2025 eyes. I mean, Americans have grown in the waist since 1965. You know what I'm saying? Everybody back then was skinny. Like Sidney Poitier is like 35 years old in this, and he has like a size 30 in jeans. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. And so, but one more thing I have to say about this, because I believe in this part, Selena says, like, you sound like the radio, you're just so sure of yourself. And I think some Americans might watch this and be like, Selena is talking to a person and she doesn't know his skin color, but Americans know a black voice and a white voice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell sometimes when someone picks up the phone what race they are. And that's why black people have learned code switching, when you can pick up the phone and sound white and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I think one of the subtle hints of how race is a construct is that, Gordon's character doesn't traditionally sound black. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this is an even bigger discussion about what does it mean to sound white or talking white. And in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Talking white is only saying stuff like, go back to your country or Judeo-Christian values. That's talking white. You could speak in perfect English, or you could say, what up, bro? Like, if you're saying shit like, America for Americans, then yeah, that's talking white in my opinion. But I don't know. Were you ever thinking about that? Like Gordon's voice and how maybe Selena couldn't tell that he was black or not?
I wasn't, because for me it's like just like in general, I think you can't always tell if a person's race from their speech, because like there's billions of people in the world and everyone speaks different.
Absolutely.
The one thing maybe gives it up is where they are from, or if they have a specific style of talking, not necessarily their voice tone or anything like that. I don't know, maybe if they're Southern, they talk a different way. And it's the same in Turkey, right? You can tell where someone is
Yeah.
from like the jargon that they use.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and Sidney Poitier's character doesn't have any jargon. It's just like a city English.
Exactly.
So I didn't really think about that
Mm-hmm.
much.
Yeah, I know it's one of those things that sort of slips by if you're not from the culture. Sort of like how when British people talk about their different accents and how they signify class, we're like, bruh, all of y'all sound like Harry Potter. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are y'all talking about? But it's like this is a culturally specific American thing. And once again, like the accents here are sort of like all over the place. For me, once again, Elizabeth Hartman's like Midwestern transatlantic accent sounds totally different than, of course, Sydney's, neutral sort of radio English. You know what I mean? American received pronunciation, I guess you could call it, but I don't know.
I don't think her accent in the movie is transatlantic accent. I think it's more like a rural American or something. I don't know if you have that.
A rural, yeah, definitely.
Like, yeah, so it sounds like that, like old Pa was from Mississippi or something, and then he came to the big city, wherever this is shot. I don't know. So
yeah. So, but moving forward in the story, Gordon finds out that Selena hasn't even gone to school. She doesn't know how to read Braille, and she's been told like all her life that blind people can't do anything. So she's just accepted that as her truth, right? And Gordon is telling her like, you can do great things. There's amazing things blind people are doing now. So that's what he's continuing to try to like knock into her head, that she can be anything, you know what I'm saying? And Gordon then goes to work later, and he's just acting a fool in this office. He works in some office. I don't know what he does. Is he a sports writer? Is he a journalist? Is he, because he works at 5 p.m. And then when he hears a church bell, he's like, well, gotta go clock in. Like, what does this man do?
I mean, it does look like maybe a sports writer, because you can see like some sports picture.
I guess. But anyway, Sidney Poitier is kind of funny without being funny. He puts a pencil in his mouth, closes his eyes, and tries to walk across the room to figure out what it's like to be blind.
He's just goofy.
He is kind of goofy, man. But the guys come in and see that he's stumbling around in the dark. He says, have you hurt yourself, Gordon? And Gordon says, no, I was doing the Watusi. And I think he said the same thing in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Well, it was a popular dance move or something, no?
I guess so.
I don't know what it is.
I guess so. I just want to see Sidney do the Watusi since he loves his dance so much. But yeah, man, moving forward, Selena is like trapped in the park, and old Pa has not shown up for hours. So it might be like midnight or something. And she's just been left there, and she's scared, right? And when she makes it home, Roseanne finds the sunglasses and says, well, looks like I got a new pair of sunglasses.
It's what Simon does every time I buy something new.
Wow, you just put me on Front Street like that. We share things.
We do.
We're just two broke girls living in this world.
We do.
Anyway, so basically, Roseanne sees the sunglasses and takes them, right? And Selena is happy as hell that, she had a good day at the park. Roseanne says, how was it? And she says, it was like, wow. And then Roseanne says, pow. It was like, wow now. And so, yeah, it was pretty funny. So, yeah, what did you think of like these scenes?
I mean, I think Roseanne has like this classic syndrome of the evil stepmom, like how it was in Cinderella. Like you hate this person, and you just want to take advantage of them. So you're scared that if they find something better, or if they actually try to get away from you, you would be left without a slave, basically. So I think that's what she's worried about. She's like, if Selena goes out and like socializes with people, maybe even finds a husband or whatever, because I believe like during those times, it's the getting married age is younger, right? She would probably be like, she would be left alone, no one to cook her dinner, breakfast, do her laundry, all these things. And that's why I think she wants to keep her like as a, I don't know, slave, basically.
Essentially as a slave, right? It's compounded even more when we find out, exactly why they have beef. But it's always fascinated me, like how the people in the family the parents and children of the same gender tend to have some beef. You know what I'm saying? Like you find out that sons and fathers have beef in families, and daughters and mothers sometimes have beef in families. Of course, it's not all the times true, and it's probably not in every family, and maybe it's culturally specific. But I found that interesting. That they're sort of like playing on this idea of like daughter and mother beef. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I'm gonna narrow that down because I feel like maybe it's more specific to like the generation from like 1960s maybe to like 1990s or maybe up to 2000. Because I feel like during that time, women were under a lot of pressure because they started coming to the workforce, but they were also like scrutinized a lot. They were like the wage gap and also a lot of like pressure from society to be and look a certain way as well. So I think maybe that also passed down this generational trauma to daughters. You know, I've heard like a lot of the times mothers would be mad at their daughters if they were fat and things like that, or if they didn't take care of themselves. So it's like, I don't know, maybe that, the mothers that come from that generation and that time.
Yeah. And especially like the more working class, maybe class might also have an influence on it. But then again, some of the horror stories I've heard have come from like, upper middle class or very rich people when they talk about their family lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's not very specific to class. So yeah.
Okay. Well, moving forward, basically, after Roseanne continues to abuse Selena, she's trying to, also say like, don't be going out in that park, and still trying to get her not to go. But Selena finds another way to go to the park, and that's through Mr. Faber, who I think is a man who does business with Roseanne's family by buying the beads that Selena always makes. Right. So that's how they know Mr. Faber. And Mr. Faber, in exchange for, buying some beads today, agrees to take Selena to the park. And he also returns her the sunglasses, which goes to show like not everybody in Selena's life is like wicked to her. You know what I mean? And so Selena shows up to the park the next day, and she's like, "Oh, Gordon, you're here. Oh, I brought some crackers. You want to try?" And Gordon, he's like, "Oh, the poor whites. How sad. Crackers are for the birds." Oh, the subtle classist shade of food.
Yes.
If this were 2025, she'd be like, "Oh, Gordon, I picked up some McDonald's for us." He was like, "McDonald's? How dare you?" Anyway, so he ends up teaching her cardinal directions, which seems to be a favorite pastime of men. I just not realized that. Like every time I've ever had a girlfriend, and also like with my wife, actually, I just love teaching women like, all right, this is north, this is south, this is east.
Wait. That sounds so problematic. First of all, we're not dumb, okay?
Nobody says you're dumb. Nobody said anybody said
the cardinal directions. Just for me, it's a cultural thing. We don't use cardinal directions in Turkey.
I feel like most men in Turkey would know like north, south, east, west. Like if they're standing in their hometown or city, they'd be like, all right, I'm walking north on this street.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
We don't use it.
You don't do that?
We don't use it.
I feel like I thought a lot of men did that.
No, it's not a men thing. No. Cardinal directions don't belong to men.
I didn't say they belong to men. I just feel like men enjoy using that mental map. You know what I mean? We have a Cartesian plane in our brain, and we're like, I'm standing 30 degrees north from the river.
Okay, Jim Bro.
Okay, now
move over.
This is my only red pill, I would say. This is the only element of red pill, but it's like the nerdy section, which is like cardinal directions and longitude, latitude.
You can have the cardinal directions.
Okay. Anyway, he starts teaching her how to find north, south, east, west by where the sun is in the sky, by feeling it on her skin. And, he also then tries to teach her how to exist in society as a blind person. But on watching this the second time, I was like, bro, why did he not just get her a stick? He got her sunglasses. That's 50% of the package. Okay, you have to get the stick too.
Wow.
But I felt like the film was still trying to sexy Selena up, and and a walking stick is not sexy, I would say. But yeah, what did you think of these scenes?
I mean, it was cute, and it's also like telling us, okay, she was never taught these things because her family wanted her to be dependent on
Mm-hmm.
them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also was like giving, I think, like get trying to get rid of somewhat like this ableist, thinking
Mm-hmm.
that, oh, just because you're blind doesn't mean you have to just stay at home. You
Mm-hmm.
can go for a walk, or you
Yeah.
can find the supermarket or whatever. So
Yeah,
you
but
can exist in the society
yeah,
with
but
guidance.
yeah, but not this way. Not this way.
Yeah.
Because the way Gordon is doing it, this is why they leave it to the professionals. You got to be a professional to be doing this. So yeah, telling her that she should just be feeling everything is not good. But they end up going to the supermarket, and um, Selena says like whenever Roseanne goes to the supermarket, she always complains about it. But she found her rich zaddy, so now going to the supermarket is a joy.
Here they're going to the deli first.
The deli, I mean, they call it deli supermarket, same thing. They're shopping. Oh, yeah. So basically,
I love this part.
Oh, they went to the deli first, right? The supermarket scene is later.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But anyway, in this part, they start collaborating on the beads, and there's like a little ASMR sequence where you just hear the sound of beads drop together, and you
Yeah,
love
but
this
it's
scene.
like synchronized with the stringy music in the background. Like you have the whole orchestra synchronized to them making a bead necklace.
Okay.
And it's like showing Gordon's face and then like Selena's face, and they're laughing and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And Selena's like, "Oh, Gordon, don't make me laugh anymore. I'm gonna be sick of laughing." And Gordon is just like somehow worse than Selena when he's making he's the one putting it from the string, and Selena knows which beats to pick. And I know like you can tell the size, but yes. Still, I feel like it should be reversed.
Now, some people have called this film an unconventional love story, and love is a big part of this film, right? Like we have, toxic type of love, in the family of Selena, and then we have what can be interpreted as platonic type of love between these two people, Gordon and Selena. So, what do you think about that aspect of the film? Like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do you think Gordon ever was feeling anything for Selena, or he looked at her like as a child, like in a platonic type of way, or as a caring type of way, but not romantic?
I think it was a caring type of way in general, like throughout the movie. I don't think we've seen like anything that would allude to like him wanting her like sexually and romantically.
Mm-hmm.
I think he never crossed that boundary.
Mm-hmm.
I do think probably for this character Gordon, it was like a bit of a choice, because I would assume like if they got married, it wouldn't be too out of the way.
What do you mean out of the way? It was illegal back then.
It was?
Yeah, that's
in the 60s?
Yeah, that was kind of the point of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Like, they couldn't legally get married.
Oh, I was talking about the age difference. I wasn't even thinking about race.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I felt like if they were, I mean, if he wanted to marry her because of the age, people wouldn't say that many things that they would today. As of the race thing, so it was illegal.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. Like I guess it had to be platonic. Like, I mean, what can I say?
I guess that's a part of me that feels like a little bit like Gordon is like leading her on a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like how it is. Like you might have somebody who you can kind of tell is falling for you or being attracted to you, but you're still like doing stuff like making them laugh and spending a lot of time with them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I've had these type of platonic relationships, not like this, not this close, but there were like, I don't know, men or like older boys around me where I felt like, oh, like they're so nice and maybe they're handsome. Obviously, as a child, you don't have any like, you don't imagine romance like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same you imagine romance as an adult and as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? You just like spending time with them and you think they're awesome.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're an adult, and now sometimes I have that relationship like as a teacher with my students, not like this again. But as an adult, I feel like you just think, oh, like, you know, this kid adores me and likes me and thinks I'm a good role model. So you want to be a good role model.
Yeah, that's how I feel. You know, like he wanted to just try to help this girl, and he had a caring sort of love for her, but not a romantic love, right? But maybe he also knew that what he was doing could cross that line, like she would develop feelings, because this, you know, like he looks like a man who's like, you know, had his relationships and, you know what I mean, has been around and knows how the game goes. So he knew that he was making her fall for her. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like he's just being nice and he's like, oh yeah, we're just friends. Like she's not going to get feelings.
I think it was more of like, she doesn't have anything that nice in her life, so let me be that nice thing that she can come to every day.
Right, but I also,
I don't think it was like he was actually trying to flirt with her.
But I also feel like Gordon, because these are the types of characters Sydney plays, but specifically this one, Gordon, is also trying to, like, you know, beat the stereotype that Black men are like sex crazed and only want, you know, women for their bodies and stuff like that. And maybe, and definitely that's also what the film is trying to say, because with this girl who's blind, she's powerless a lot of the times around Gordon in public and in private. And he could have taken advantage of her, but he didn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Also breaking another stereotype about Black men, you know?
Yeah. I think for Gordon, and this is the last thing I'll say, like, even if it wasn't illegal for interracial couples, or even if they were the same race, I don't think he would have, like, taken advantage of her or seen her romantically. And also I think the part where he was worried about, like, he developed this friendship with her and maybe he was scared if she knew that he was Black, she'd be a racist person.
Yeah.
You know, that she was actually a racist person.
Right. Yeah, he was just doing whatever to, all right, just please don't touch my hair. Just dodging the whole thing. Oh, Gordon, let me give you a hug. Okay, all right, not too close now. Anyway, so yeah, speaking of race, right? Like, so they're walking in the park and these old ladies pass by Selena and Gordon walking and they're giving them the side eye. You know what I mean? You know, this was acting on his first date. Once again, this movie.
We were at a park too.
We were at a park too, just getting side eye. All the old ladies. Jealous. Anyway, so Gordon begins to teach her about tolerance. I forgot exactly how they started talking about tolerance.
Selena says, like, friend is my new favorite word. You're my friend. And Gordon is like, I know a better word, tolerance. And Selena was sort of confused, like, what tolerance means. And I think Gordon explains it as, like, you know, it's having a respect for someone, basically, even if you might not like them.
It was very interesting, this conversation, because, you know, she understood it as like tolerating pain, right? Because she says, like, oh, tolerance is like when Roseanne says, you don't like this food? Well, you're going to have to tolerate it. Something like that. And then Gordon says, like, no, tolerance is like respecting your neighbor regardless of what he looks like or what he thinks.
Yeah.
And then Selena says, are you tolerant, Gordon? And he says, not a little bit.
I hate crackers.
No, he didn't say all that, but he did say. But he did say, like, I'm not tolerant in the least bit. So what the fuck are you teaching her about?
I know, right? That was confusing.
That was.
I thought of it also when I was watching it as well.
It would only make sense if he's saying, like, I do not tolerate racism or hatred or discrimination, right? So maybe that's also what he could mean, because you could mean I don't tolerate injustice, which I guess he's proving by saving this little blind girl.
But his definition don't fit that definition. That's a different definition.
Exactly. Like, okay. Anyway, So they have a lovely day in the park, and Selena is just melted. She's like, "Thank you, Gordon. Thank you for everything."
Wet.
Yes. And Gordon is just like, yeah, you're welcome. I'll see you soon. I think they agreed to meet Monday, right? Because it's like Friday. And so he's not going to be hanging out on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't want to hang out on the weekend, but he wants to hang out during the weekdays. Like,
yeah, I mean, he starts work late
at 5 p.m.
Yeah, so he's just like walking around this park doing chores.
Oh,
and yeah.
What a like, nut.
I'll do the chores with this blind girl.
What a nut. What a nut. Anyway, so yeah, she ends up seeing Mr. Favor. He picks her up from the park and he says something nice to her. And Selena says, "Oh, Mr. Favor, how tolerant you are." And Mr. Favor's like, "Okay, this weird little girl." So basically, we get to meet another character, and this is Roseanne's friend,
Sadie.
Yeah, I think it's short for Mercedes. No, anyway, her name is Sadie. Yeah, her name is Sadie, and she's mean and rude to Roseanne too. She also treats her like a redheaded stepchild. You know what I'm saying? Like just very dismissive of her. And Roseanne actually, this is the nicest Roseanne is to Selena in the entire movie because she's like, "It's Sunday, girl. I'm doing my nails. I'm not drinking. I'm zen."
Self-care day.
She's doing self-care day. So I only call my daughter a bitch once.
No negative vibe.
No negative vibe, Sadie.
Bitch, don't kill my vibe.
What is that? What is that? Anyway, so yeah, this is when both of them are. We find out a little bit more about their backstory. Like they used to be two hot girls, you know what I'm saying? And it seems like their lives got derailed by like men or having kids or just being working class and poor, right? Because I think Sadie wanted to be an actress like Marilyn Monroe back in the day. And, Roseanne is making fun of her like, you could have been this or that could have happened, but, we're just old hags now. And Sadie has this little sad moment where she says, "Yeah, none of us are getting any younger." So, I mean, that's interesting. I guess that gives you a little bit of sympathy for Roseanne or Sadie. No?
Not sympathy from my perspective, but like I said, because of those kind of societal pressures that women had during this time, specifically on their looks, I can make sense of why they are so mean a little bit. It doesn't excuse them again.
They're bitter.
But yes. And, in the scene where she says this, she's looking at Selena and like looking how young she is and sort of like jealous of her,
Yeah. That's what I thought was the root of a lot of mother-daughter beefs. You know what I mean? The fact that, a woman had to give up her body for this other person to have a younger, newer body, right? And stuff like that. Yeah. And all the opportunities that women in successive generations have compared to their mothers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They had less opportunity. You have more. There's a little bit of jealousy there. But you can't be jealous of Selena because she can't see. So you have a one-up on her forever. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I'm just saying. But moving forward in the story, right? I believe Selena was like very sad because Gordon was running a little bit late. This is the blackest we've ever seen Sidney Poitier. He runs like 2 minutes late for his date with Selena. But yeah, she's crying and sobbing. It's like, "Oh, Gordon, why didn't you come?" And then he like comes up behind her and he starts like dancing and stuff.
No, Selena starts like whistling some tune, and Gordon comes and starts whistling with her and says, "Don't stop, Sadie."
Don't stop, Selena. Keep going.
Keep going, yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, like these little quirky moments are kind of silly.
Yeah, he's a very silly, goofy man. Like it's yeah. So anyway, they end up going to the supermarket. And he's
and the can section is insane.
Yeah,
what were you eating?
I know, right? We were just crazy back then.
I can't even read that. Vichyssoise?
Vichyssoise. I don't know what that means. I think that's like a I have no idea what that is. But he's making up stuff. Like he's just trying to be funny and cute while they're at the supermarket because he's saying like we have kangaroo tail, panda paw, camel hump. You know what I mean? That's he's just making up stuff to make her laugh, you know.
That was making up. I thought that was real.
Kangaroo tail,
Yeah.
canned kangaroo tail.
I don't know what Americans eat.
We are not that savage. We are not that wicked. Anyway, so yeah, they're just playing around in the supermarket. He puts her on the cart. They're just swinging around. And I don't know, man. Some parts of this felt a little bit unrealistic, knowing that this is like 1960s America. You know what I mean? And like interracial dynamics were still, you know, not the best, I would say. Mm-hmm. So some parts, like this scene, kind of, it was fun, but it also didn't feel real to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was like kind of waiting a racist to show up and like give them a sneaky look or something too. But it didn't happen in this scene.
It didn't. In fact,
it was definitely in the back of my mind that also like something might happen, you know.
Right. I mean, it didn't happen pretty much at all during the movie. Like I was waiting for some white guy to say, "Hey, boy, what you doing with that white girl?" You know what I mean? Because that's what's often seen in the movies. And like from what I have been told, like you know, like my father's used to tell me, like he grew up in Alabama in the late 1960s. And he said he would walk to school and the police would pull up on the side of him and say, "Get off the sidewalk." You know what I mean? And my father was born in 1960, and that was happening like around 1968, 69. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where in the hell in America you could have, you know, a 6 foot tall black man swinging around some 5'4" white woman in the supermarket. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to take away the funness of the scene because it is so fun and funny.
Maybe it's the city, like maybe that's why.
Maybe, but it doesn't seem like it's New York. I don't know where it is in the world. You know what I mean? So. But either way, I don't want to take away from the funness of the scene because it is so funny. Like this part, like Gordon tells Selena, "Can you go get the oranges?" And I'm like, how are you going to tell this girl who only remembers the color blue to go find the orange? And Acty was telling me like, oh no, she could smell them.
Yeah, and feel because they're like this. They have this grainy texture, and then you can smell an orange.
Okay, I guess maybe, but I mean, what if you like end up in the Mandarin section?
Okay, yeah, probably. I mean, maybe you can differentiate, but I don't think so.
I guess.
I mean, he sent her towards one direction, you know. So there were only like apples and oranges.
I know,
but you can tell the difference.
But still, what you expect to happen does happen because this girl almost pulls all the oranges cascading down off the shelf, and then she looks at Gordon and says, "Did I drop one?" And he's trying to save the oranges from falling, and it was just funny, man. This is just so cute. You know what I'm saying? I love Sidney Poitier, like as a dramatic actor, but also as a comedic actor. Like, I think that's so hard to do because I don't even like Denzel is like the closest we have to a living Poitier, right? Mm-hmm. But Denzel is not like funny like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was Sidney's talent, like to be straight, but also like very funny with it.
Yeah, and I think he's really good doing that with his facial expression.
Yeah.
Like here, you know, there's like this 30-second silence where he doesn't say anything and he's just trying to hold the oranges and he's like
yeah.
Oops. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like also I feel like most of the time we see him thinking about how to like react to her because he doesn't want to make her feel small or anything like that. So I think he does that really good, like the facial expressions, the quiet acting.
Yep. Love these scenes. So the thing is, right? There's this part where Selena asks, "You must be very rich," and Gordon says, "Not so you'd notice," which is I don't know how to interpret that sentence. Like you're rich, but he doesn't want her to know. I mean, all the arrows point to him being like upper middle class.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
I mean, he is sharing a flat with his brother. You do know that. But their flat is really nice, right? And really big. Mm-hmm. And he looks like he has a nice office job, which I feel like that's a good job back then, right? Probably good paying job.
Yeah.
But I do think this might be his way of pointing to his race, because like back then, Black people weren't assumed to be rich or higher class. So maybe that's him just doing a little inside joke. I don't know.
There are some inside. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. You must be very rich, not so you'd notice. I mean, of course, number one, she couldn't notice, his color because, she's blind. But two, even if she could, she wouldn't suspect him of being rich for that reason you said. So yeah, that's
maybe,
yeah. That's very dope. But in all other ways, like he's splurging. Like this is the 19. He is tricking.
If we did the same shopping that he did in this scene, we'll probably pay like $100.
No, more than that. Maybe like 150. Wait, in America, definitely more than like 200. Definitely more than 200 for all he did. He was buying like 10 oranges, bunch of meat, kangaroo tail.
2 ice creams.
2 ice creams.
Like pints.
Pineapple and vanilla for the experience.
Yeah.
Oh man. But anyway, so they end up going back to his apartment and she starts freaking out because she says, "Oh man, what's happening? Am I in an elevator?" And he's like, "Yes, you are." And she's like, "Oh geez, I've never been in one of these before. I thought I was gonna hit the ceiling." And this is like the first time I showed Acti how to use a microwave. I'm sorry, that was mean. You can get me back. I know you're gonna get me back soon. But anyway, they go back to the apartment and she's like, "Wow, carpet in the hallway?" And even me, I'm like, "Yo, that's fancy."
I know, right?
That is fancy. That's like, Upper East Side Manhattan, like Astoria, the Astoria apartments, Anyway,
she's still fascinated.
She's like, "Wow, it's so cool in here. You have air conditioning?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got it all."
And he keeps it on while he's awake.
And dog, yes.
He's rich.
You balling.
He's like filthy rich.
He is balling like a motherfucker. Man. My God, man. Jesus, I didn't even think about that. He did leave that AC on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh man. But anyway, he leaves her in the living room to like unpack the groceries because of course she can't help. And he also turns on some music for Selena to listen to. And then his brother comes in, Mark. And Mark is like, "Hey, random white woman, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "Oh, hey, I'm just Gordon's friend. And he just leaves you alone like this? Well, that's not right. He's no good friend." But I'll just go and check up on him, make sure he's okay, and give him a piece of my mind for leaving you out here, right? And she said, "What's up with little orphan Annie out here? You got Helen Keller outside." And so, I think they start talking more. They start talking more about the situation, right? And he's like, "You going to take care of that little white girl?" He's like, "I'm just trying to help, man."
I think in the beginning, his brother is suspecting like maybe Gordon is trying to pick like Selena up, and because he's like, "Oh, you're picking up chicks from the park now?"
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. And Gordon is like, "No, like she's just a little blind girl. She needs help, and I help her. Like that's it. We don't have anything else." And I think like it's also like whatever your race is. Even his own brother was like, "Okay, you guys look kind of weird."
Yeah.
Because you're a grown-up man and she's like a teenager, so it looks kind of weird. And I think this is when like also in the movie, the first time we were watching it, I had that suspicion in my head, like, oh no, like is he gonna date her?
Is Gordon gonna try to make his move?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Sidney Poitier, so you never expect him to be the bad guy. Right?
Yeah.
He's like he was carrying the whole race on his shoulders with cinema. But yeah, I really like Mark's character. I like their back and forth because it allows the Black audience to sort of speak through Mark. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. As we're watching Sidney make these wild moves. You know what I'm saying? Which is what we wanted to do a lot in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. But not like how the maid did, in the maid. She was like, "Listen here, you black buck, all that black power stuff, it ain't gonna fly here, and you ain't that handsome anyway." That was classic. That was great.
it was just like questioning him, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But yeah, basically, she's fooling around in the living room and she finds this music box and she opens it and a little song starts playing and then Sidney Poitier does the extraordinary. He starts singing in French, Miss, Miss, like I don't know what he's saying. I don't know, mon ami, bon ami, like yeah. And she's like, "Wow, Gordon, you're so amazing." And she's like, where did you get that box? Right? They start sitting in the kitchen and eating grits and pears. What the hell is it?
Peaches.
Peaches and grits.
I think it's grits. I don't know. That looks insane.
This plate does look insane.
And Selena is even impressed by that. She's like, "Oh my God, it tastes great."
Yeah. I mean, this is like the part.
Bachelor.
Yeah, the part when you're dating a girl and just everything you say is funny and everything you give her is just so amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but also like Sydney's plate is giving. Yeah, I'm a bachelor.
This is ultimate bachelor.
I do not have a long-term relationship. It's just I just eat things out of a can.
Yeah,
basically.
What is that? Cream of wheat and peach. Oh my God. Anyway, this tastes so good. Oh hell. Anyway, so basically, Gordon tells her the story about his grandmother who met this rich guy from another world. That's all we can find out, right? And he gave her that as a gift, but their relationship fell apart for whatever reason, right? And I feel like that's an even deeper story. Like that one was so interesting. But we find out his grandmother's name was Pearl, and we find out that Pearl was also the name of a friend Selena had way back in the day, and she couldn't be friends with her anymore because Roseanne said she can't be friends with any black people, right? And this is when Gordon says, "Ooh, shit, what have I got myself into?" Who would have thought a poor white woman would be very racist? Oh man, what did you think of those parts?
The first time I didn't really think that much deeper about like Gordon's grandmother, and then the second time I thought, okay, maybe I thought his grandmother might be like Haitian or like some French speaking, maybe from a French-speaking African country or like a South American country. And maybe she came to America like that, maybe fell in love with a rich guy. That's kind of like how I filled in the blanks. But, maybe she got disappointed by the guy. So maybe that.
Yeah. That could be a whole movie in and of itself.
Yeah, because he was singing in French. So he knew French. So maybe like, okay, that could be it. But I also think like he didn't really give that much detail because it would show his race a little bit, maybe. Yeah,
he didn't want to say. But if he said, so my grandmother was from Haiti, and she's like, Haiti, do you mean that city in Louisiana? Like she don't know where. Haiti, Guadeloupe. I think Guadeloupe is what I had for dinner last night. Wow. Martinique, that's a fancy name. Who's that? I'm sorry. I could do this all day.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
What did you think?
I thought, the way they did revealing Roseanne's racism through the Pearl story was very dope and very cool. Like that was like a common thing, like people think like America was like segregated from like birth till death. But no, like it used to be like the kindergartners and pre-Ks were integrated because everybody knows kids don't really see race or color. So there's no point in doing that, right? But it wasn't until you got older. So that her story is like very common for like a lot of like white people at the time or black people too. Like you had a white friend or a black friend when you were young, but then you got separated through life. You know what I'm saying? And I also felt like that a little bit in my own life. Like I remember being, very young, 10, you know what I mean? 9, 8, and having a bunch of like white friends, black friends, and we didn't even care. But then slowly, we all sort of like separated into like our own things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think a lot of parents have like an effect in that as
Yeah,
well, right?
yeah.
But I think it was also interesting how they made Selena react to the whole story, because I think Gordon here asked like, "What did you think about that? Or what happened to Pearl?" And she says something like, it's a shame she was black, like,
Yeah.
so it doesn't really tell us, is she also racist or is she not? Like,
I think
because she also says, she taught me a lot of things. I loved her.
I think in the original book, Selena was more racist, right?
Yeah.
I think, but they cut that out of the film. Do you think that makes the film better or worse? Or would it just be a totally different film?
I think it would be different if like Gordon was trying to pursue Selena that racist manner. And I like it like this, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I think, you know, on one hand, the argument that if somebody is blind, that they can't be racist is like ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because racism isn't even built around skin color. It's a whole culture of ideas and beliefs about a people, right? Mm-hmm. So it could have been very possible for Selena to be racist too. Maybe it would have been more realistic, in my opinion, if like she let like the N-word slip out here and there. Or if she said, Roseanne says this about colored people, and from what I know, I think it's true. And then maybe he challenges that, you know what I mean? As a more realistic combating of racism. Because just saying like she's blind, she can't be racist is really surface level. You know what I'm saying?
I think they leaned like in the beginning, also in the first slide, the slogan for the movie, right? Color is really blind. And no, love is really color blind. Right? So I think they really leaned into that, like making Selena blind, but also colorblind. I don't know, like not really caring for those type of social constructs.
Right.
She just knows what she's been told and taught.
Yeah.
But she's not like strict on those.
Yeah. I guess, one of the biggest complaints or arguments somebody could have against this film is that it promotes the idea of a colorblind society, right? Yeah. Or that racism could be solved just without looking at people's color and if you judge them by their character. But the thing that makes racism so insidious is that, you can meet upstanding, great people that are a part of a race that you deem inferior, right? Yeah. Like there could be a rabid Zionist who just really hates Arabs, but they always tell people, I'm not racist. I know one really great Arab guy. You know what I'm saying? Or any other concoction or mix you can make up, right? And so, but the idea of racism is that deep within that person, no matter how spectacular you think they are, you still attribute negative qualities to them based on their race, right? If you think about in Django, right? Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Candy, he said like, Django, you might be an incredible Negro, but if I crack open your skull, you still got these 3 dots that make you inferior. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think, this film is a bit frustrating in that aspect, but yeah, I still appreciate it though.
I mean, it's hard to judge Selena's like character or her stance on racism because also like Gordon is the perfect guy. Like he's nice, he's kind, he's rich, he's well mannered, and all of those things. He's one of the good ones, as racist white people say.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't really give us much more to explore because what's not to like about her? If she doesn't like him, then it's solely because of his race. Because there isn't anything not to like about him.
Exactly. But I digress. That was a very good discussion. I really like that right there. But so I don't know how this exactly came up, but Selena starts talking about sex. She says, I'm no baby, Gordon. I got experience. They're like, what? I don't know how exactly that came up.
It started from like when she learned Pearl, Gordon's grandmother, was lovers with this guy. And when she heard that, she was like, uh-huh. And Gordon's like, uh-huh, what do you know about sex and love?
She's like, I'm no baby, Gordon. I got experience. I've been done over before. And so then we get another horrific flashback. And I'm like, oh my God, more trauma. Great. More scars. Girl. Yeah, so essentially, Roseanne was sleeping with another random dude in her house. And the guy is like, I don't want to have sex in front of some stranger because, Roseanne is in this small ass apartment and Selena's right in the other side of the room. And Roseanne's like, okay, I'll go grab my old pa and he could take her out of the room for a few minutes while we do the nasty, right? So Roseanne leaves the room and this guy locks the door and then violently assaults Selena. So yeah, really really hard to watch scene, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, uh, and Gordon had Gordon's the crowd. Like this is exactly the reaction. Like shit, damn. What did you think of those scenes? Like how we found out this part of Selena's life. I did not expect the film to go this part because at this point it was very wholesome. I did not expect sex to come up at all, and the way it did, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, her life is very tragic, right? And shit just like happened to her over and over again. And yeah, I think he's also realizing like, you see this like white girl, little girl, and she's like making beads and she's blind and naive, but you don't really know how much scars people carry with them. And also, I think in here, like, he sees how twisted she's been taught about her trauma because she's saying things like, oh, do you think I'm dirty? Like, or Roseanne was so mad at me. And things like that. So she's thinking that it's her own fault.
Yeah.
That she somehow seduced this man and made herself dirty. And I think he's also like carrying that shock as well.
Yeah. So at this point, speaking of Roseanne, it made me really put two and two together about why Roseanne is such a cunt to her own daughter, right? Because number one, she might feel like my daughter is sort of the reason my husband left. And then also, my daughter is a tramp that wants to sleep with my boyfriends. And that goes back to what we were talking about, like the jealousy between older women and their younger, more attractive daughters because they're younger, you know what I mean? So, like, it really all made sense. And I was like, damn, Roseanne, you are the worst. You are the worst, though. Because even though we find out why, it's still not justified. You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, I think like Roseanne is just all over super fucked up and toxic. Like if Roseanne had a son, she would probably do incest.
Oh, you took it there. You took it there, acting. Yes. My God.
Because there are some moms that are weird about their kids.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Anyway.
Really nasty. great way to make this effed up scene even worse, acting. You took it there. But Roseanne is the type. Yeah, she is that type. But but enough about Roseanne, even though this scene is really about Selena. This was really well done. I really liked Sidney Poitier's facial expressions. Like you said, his acting is really like emotive through his face and like the intensity he carries in it. So yeah, really well done scene from everybody right there, man. But I think at this point, Selena is trying to learn Braille, but it's really hard for her because she's functionally illiterate. She's been illiterate all of her, young life. And
sorry, it's funny, like all these, little funny moments. Gordon is like, how's the book? And Roseanne is like, I don't understand.
Selena
is like, I don't understand this as much as I don't understand a normal book. Like, she can't read Braille, but she's just feeling stuff.
Yeah, she's just feeling around with it. So, but anyway, Gordon ends up giving her the little music box that he got from his grandmother as a gift. And she's like, oh, thank you, Gordon. And so she ends up burying it underground because she doesn't want anybody to take it, just like how Roseanne took her sunglasses, right? So she ends up getting trapped in the rain and there's like a thunderstorm and she's like very scared because she's blind and doesn't know where to go and the thunder is everywhere. And then Gordon comes out to like save her from the rain. And I honestly thought in this scene, this was where they were going to have a kiss. I thought this was, because this is like so...
I mean, the way he grabbed her, he just like grabbed her like how romantically you would grab a woman,
Yeah.
I don't know what's that called.
And it's in the rain, it's just so like, perfect. He hands her his coat and everything. So, yeah. And this is where she admits, I love you. I do love you. And he tells her to stop it. So very interesting dynamic right here. And this is something we don't you I asked you, I think earlier today, or maybe the first time we watched this, I forgot. Like, when have we ever seen a film like this where a man doesn't want a woman's love, you know, in a mutual type of way?
Leon, the professional.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I think it was the same type of relationship like with this one, but obviously this is older.
It's always a very interesting dynamic, right? With Leon, the girl is like very young, right?
Yeah.
But this one, I think she's of age. We don't exactly know Selena's age.
She's just older than Natalie Portman's character. Like, yeah. I think she's still very young.
Yeah. But, either way, she admits that she loves him, and he says, stop it, right? And I believe, she is really like, I think her love is also driven out of desperation. Like, I love this man who's not only nice to me, but he's giving me a better life and opportunity. He actually cares. He's not abusing me, So
yeah, definitely. I think like I said in the beginning, you have this man that like tells her that she's beautiful, and Roseanne constantly tells her that she's ugly, and there's this type of attention that he gives her. Yeah. So I think that's also attractive. But also I think here in this scene, I saw the fear in Gordon's eyes. Like, because now he knows that her family is racist, right? And maybe I thought he doesn't want to get in trouble. He doesn't want her going around saying that she's in love with this Gordon guy, and then turns out the Gordon is black.
Yeah.
And then they report him or something.
I also felt like, in a lot of ways, like, this scene was very interesting in that it showed the real power dynamic, because no matter how amazing and incredible, intelligent Gordon is, right, he still is scared of this old, poor white man. You know what I'm saying? Because he's literally running across the park when he sees old Pa come to pick up Selena. You know what I'm saying? And a man of his stature shouldn't be running from anybody. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know if it's cowardice or it's just avoiding trouble.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because I think at this point, when he hears about like Selena's life, and also like sees old Pa like being drunk, not being able to walk and stuff, I think he's like, I gotta get her out of there.
Yeah.
Because her mom, basically enabled her to get sexually assaulted and all these things. So yeah, it's I think he couldn't have helped her if he was pinned by racist folks.
Exactly. So the next day, Selena makes it back to the house after old Pa picks her up from the park, right? And she's like, "Oh, my darling Gordon, how I miss you so." And I know you just picked this screenshot because you just like this picture.
Yes, it's so cute.
But I forgot exactly what's happening here. Like, she's cleaning the house or something like that?
Yeah, she's doing laundry, and she got Roseanne's bra, and she's like feeling her own breasts. Like, when are they gonna grow?
Yeah, when am I gonna get some titties?
It's just like very classic, I don't know, becoming a woman jitters.
Yeah, I guess. Like, yeah, so Roseanne is like finding new ways of trying to ruin Selena's life by telling old Pa, "Hey, don't take her out to the park. Don't you have other things you should do? Hey, old man, maybe I'll get you something nice if you just, rest your feet a little bit. Don't do all that walking." He says, like, "You're right. I don't need to be going out to the park. I need to be relaxing, and I'm through with all that business, right?" So Pa says, "Are you taking me to the park?" And he's like, "Oh, hell no." And so she's back at the house, and she's upset. I think
she decides to put on the sunglasses and go out by herself.
Yeah, she decides to go out on her own, and some people are able to help her, But the tips and tricks that Gordon told her, like north, south, east, west, they're not working right now.
Yeah.
And this, some people are helping her, and one guy says like, "You shouldn't be out here," and he ends up taking her back home to her address, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think of those scenes when she was just out and about? Because that scene was, those scenes were actually kind of terrifying. Like they did it really well with the music, the cars whooshing by, the people,
like the skateboarders. Because how would she know? Like, what are those?
Yeah,
like, who are those?
Gee willikers.
Yeah, like little kids running around and passing by her.
Yeah.
And there's like almost kind of like funny, but not funny, of course. Like she's feeling the wall and she accidentally like does this to a man, and the man is scared and like spills his drink.
Like she's like molested like 3 or 4 people walking down the street. She's like touching everything.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, like, if only maybe some people knew she was blind, they could have helped her, or if only there was like a way to, like the stick, like you said, to make her like be able to navigate. Yeah,
just that would have been the easiest, because not only could she use the stick to walk, she could have used the stick to beat Rose. I'll show you what I can do. Anyway, she goes crazy in the house. Like she unleashes a tirade. Like she gets really upset. "I hate you, you dirty, drunken, selfish old bastard," as she says to old Pa's bed when they're not there. She never keep that same energy when they in the house though. So
I know.
And then she turned up on Roseanne. "You filthy, cheap, stinking whore." Spits on her bed and everything. "God, do it. And then she says, "Oh, Gordon, my darling Gordon." And this is what Acne does every time I leave the house. Boom, strike 2. Yeah, I'm up.
Yes, sure.
Okay, I'm sorry. I like this scene when she goes off. It felt cathartic.
Yeah.
It felt like this was needed. You know what I mean? Like, because there was so much pent up. Because like we're looking at the screen, like help, help, help. You know.
And I like that how they honed in with that what that guy said, like you have no right to be out here. And then when she starts her like cathartic, crash out, she's like, I have no right for anything. I hate everybody. And it's sort of like giving us this, what ableism does is that we basically tell people who are disabled that you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that because you don't have this or that. Right. So yeah, like, and who are we to say, you shouldn't be able to walk down the park, you shouldn't be able to cross the road just because you're blind or you're this or that. And instead we should make it able for them to do so.
That's good. I didn't even think about that.
So yeah, that was, I think, very, very like nice on that part as well. As the theme is also like, the ableism and ableist.
I didn't even think about that. That was fire. That was fire. Okay, so, but luckily, Selena gets some good news after her crash out. I think Mr. Faber's son comes by and he says he wanted you to know, I got a call from a guy named Gordon and he's told me to pass this message on to you. He wanted to know if you're okay because you didn't come to the park. And he says that he'll meet you the next day at the park. They end up meeting, coming back to the apartment again. And, Selena says, I don't know how to call. I don't know how to use the phone. Right. So that's why she couldn't tell Gordon she couldn't make it to the park. And that's why she also was very sad. Right. They also end up having a kiss after Selena breaks the plates. And and this is when Selena also says, like, "Oh, Gordon, I wish I never was done over before," which is code for like, I wish I wasn't essentially great. You know what I mean? Like, and Gordon is like, this is so, yeah, these are the consequences, man, when you be playing games. Gordon was running game and then he ended up playing games, you know what I'm saying? But what did you think of the kiss scene?
Yeah, I think like we knew that Selena was feeling romantically like interested in Gordon. And it was sort of like, as you can see even in this picture, I feel like Gordon was just there, just standing and seeing like what's gonna happen, and just also shocked. And Selena was the one who initiated the kiss. Yeah. And I also think maybe he didn't want to pull her away because he also didn't want to make her sad as well,
Mm-hmm.
or make her feel rejected.
Definitely.
And I do feel there's a little part of him that enjoyed the kiss as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too bad it happened in No Nut November. He couldn't act on it. He's like, if this were December 31st. But anyway, um, I when I was seeing this, it just made me think about the scandal of maybe this kiss being on screen. I don't know if this was the first interracial kiss on screen. I doubt it because if it was, I feel like that would be noted in like all the commentary about the film. But you know, before making this movie review, we were watching a interview Elizabeth Hartman did in like 1965 talking about the film, and they showed the screening of the film, and it's like just a sea of white people in the theater watching this interracial kiss happen on screen. And I was just wondering, like, you know, like how people would have reacted to that on screen. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I find the most interesting about this. Of course, as it relates to the story, everything you said, I agree with. I just wonder how people, you know, felt about that. You know what I'm saying at the time. You know.
I mean, probably all sorts of ideas.
Yeah.
All sorts of thoughts.
Yeah. From that's hot to go.
Yeah.
To get. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Anyway, but yeah. So anyway, Selena says like, I wish we made love. I wanted to make love with you, but you know, he says like, no, this isn't right or something like that. And Selena's like, I'm glad you said that. You brought me back down to earth. So he like lets her down in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Not breaking her heart. Um, and moving forward, they end up smoking cigarettes outside in the plush apartment that he owns. And Selena lights the cigarette with a match perfectly. Then she wants to smoke the cigarette, and she doesn't even know how to smoke a cigarette. But this is when Gordon gets the idea, like, we have to do something for you. Like, we have to get you to a school or something. You know what I'm saying? Because if you stay around me, you getting fucked.
If you stay around Roseanne, you're also getting fucked.
Hey. Anyway, so yeah, you cannot go on living the way you are. You're living like in the dark ages, Selena. We got to get you out of here. You know what I'm saying? So and this is when Mark comes back in and speaks for the black part of the audience and says, brother, what are you doing? You trying to teach this white girl? The white man, they never gave us nothing but problems. They never gave us anything but problems. And you going around educating this white girl. You know what I'm saying? And then this is one of the coldest scenes. I wonder if we have this clip when he turns around. Let's not get into a political argument. I love the way this is done because this is one of Sydney's finest moments. He is like, he's a flexible ass nigga. He's very flexible, and he has a perfect lineup and the perfect mini fro. So he is like, he is a very symmetrical brother. You know what I'm saying? This nigga is very diagonal. So when he does these angles, it's like robotic, but also smooth as hell. I don't know how to describe it. You know what I'm talking about? Yes.
I think you can only understand if you see it.
If you see it, yeah. But this is a very good shot. I don't know. So what did you think of like the debates between these two? You know, like, don't educate the white man. Let's not get into a political argument. We have different views on race and politics. We don't agree, but I'm just trying to do what I want to do. What do you think?
Okay, so first of all, I have to say, like, when Gordon says things like, we have to get you out and things like that, Selena's reaction is like, but I like the way things they are. Like, but I like the things the way they are. Why can't I just stay with you here? So we see like Selena really has no aspirations, rather than just maybe making her current state a bit better by having a friend, right? But she doesn't even mind like doing all the chores Roseanne gives her and things like that. She doesn't mind the abuse. And she constantly blames herself for all the things that happen to her. So it's like she's in this black hole that she can't get out. Like she's in this box that she can't see through it. And I feel like Gordon's perspective was more based on class rather than race. And I don't think Gordon is like, I don't think racism exists. Like, I don't think he's a guy like that, obviously, not at that time, especially. But I think he was like, this is not about race. This is more about class and abuse and sexual violence and protecting a child. I feel like that was more of his stance rather than just seeing her as a white girl.
Yeah, definitely. He puts humans first, right? So, regardless of their color or background, he's like, I want to help this person who's going through something. You know what I mean? And maybe also, Gordon thinks like by doing great things, we as Black people are showing our humanity, and we can defeat racism that way. You know what I'm saying? And I think they mentioned earlier that Mark is like a doctor in a hospital, and his brother says he's been going through a hard time. So maybe his brother has been experiencing more racism than what Gordon has been dealing with. You know what I mean? If Gordon is a sports journalist, I mean, to some degree, racism in the sports arena is still there, but it's lessened because, that's one of the few areas where they allow African Americans to shine. You know what I mean? But in medicine, you know what I'm saying, he might be dealing with racist ass clients and patients.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Moving forward in the story, Selena is taught how to use the phone by Gordon, and he gives her his number so that she can call anytime he needs. Very cute scene. I like this scene so much. But this is also when Roseanne and Sadie discover that Gordon and Selena are items. And Sadie says, how about that? Look at that. And I think Sadie was actually like, God damn, that nigga fine. So the way Sadie was looking, she's like, that's the finest nigga I've ever seen. I'm sorry. Because she never said anything bad, but Roseanne gets pissed.
Yeah, she's like, looks like Selena done grown up.
She done grown up. God damn. She said, yeah. I'm sorry.
Stop saying that.
I'm sorry. I'm killing it.
It's like 6'7". That's your 6'7".
That's my 6'7". All right. So anyway, Roseanne ends up confronting Selena about, her Black boyfriend, as she puts it, right? And, she's saying all sorts of N-word this and N-word that. But meanwhile, Selena is in her head, like, remembering all the nice things that Gordon said, like, it's pineapple juice. And so, yeah, they end up, fighting for real. She's like, you better stop saying all those nasty things about Gordon. And so
she actually slaps Roseanne.
Yeah. Yeah, like Roseanne. No, I disagree. I think Roseanne slapped her first.
No.
Okay. No. Okay. All right. I think Roseanne slapped first, but whatever. They end up fighting.
Because this is what happens. Like she says all the bad things, and then Selena slaps Roseanne, and Roseanne says, treating your mother like that, is that what your Black boyfriend is teaching you?
And then they start going off.
Yeah, they start going off.
Yeah, they go, if I ever catch you again. And then so they start fighting for real. But then old Paul jumps in and this is a cool shot. I like this shot. It's like, why is she crouching like that?
She's ready.
She's like, I'm ready to. That's scary as hell though, for real. Like she is terrifying. But old Paul's like, I've had it with you, bitch. And so they start fighting so loud that the neighbors come in and the whole white trash community, the trailer park come out, and they're like, hey, well, y'all are raising hell. We just came to see if everything's all right. And Roseanne and Old Power are like, get out of our house. And they start fighting the people in the apartment and start laughing about it at the end. And so, wow, it was an incredible scene. I really liked this scene. It was so insane and intense. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought they were interesting choices. Like all of their neighbors were immigrants. They were speaking Spanish, I think some of them, or Italian or something. So yeah, and I feel like the reason maybe they hate them is because they ain't them. Like they're supposed to be white and privileged, and yet they're still like, living how the immigrants live, basically. Yeah. And I feel like all of a sudden the racism like overpowered, and it made them bond in this moment of like hating other people.
I like this scene because it finally is like that release valve for all the tension that was building between the characters, right? You want Selena to stand up for herself. You want Roseanne to get like socked in the face. You want Paul to like give Roseanne some. Basically, we kind of just want Roseanne to just get hurt real quick, and fight back. But then also like the community coming in and stepping in and saying, "You two are fucked up." That also like is release of tension because we're saying the entire time these two are not okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But moving forward in the story, it's almost done. So old Pa is sort of like realizing like his life is pretty much over. He's just an old drunk bastard and he's up to no good. So yeah. Um, and Roseanne then comes to Selena and says, listen, we're going to move out of this place. Sadie got us a new apartment and we're going to start turning tricks. Basically, they're going to be some high class old hookers. And, Selena's like, I don't want to go. And Roseanne is like, you'll do as you're told and you'll consider yourself lucky when we're actually out of here. Right. And so meanwhile, Gordon is making plans on getting Selena out to a school that will take, blind children. So what did you think of any of those scenes?
Yeah, I mean, Roseanne is really evil because she's also like plotting to leave old Pa behind as well. And even though he's not the best guy, Selena is like, can I stay and take care of him? And that was like, she only thinks about herself and herself only.
Yeah. And it looks like looks like they're about to start pimping Selena out. You know what I mean? Do you really want to be in a trap house with fucking Sadie, Roseanne, and they have a young girl there? Yeah, no.
I mean, even if they just made her clean up, see, we know something's gonna happen to her.
And then all Roseanne is gonna say, that's an extra $10.
Yes.
Like what? Yeah.
That's scary.
But moving forward in the story, right? Selena is calling on Gordon, right, to meet, and she's actually trying to walk to the place, and I think she's successful in doing it, right?
Yeah, like she calls him, and he doesn't answer because he also just like exited the house to meet with Selena, and because he doesn't answer, Selena is like, I have to go myself, and then she's able to go actually and make it to the park.
Wow. So yeah, it shows like growth in the character right here. And I believe that, Selena was saying like, I want to come live with you, Gordon, please. And she's like,
yeah, she's telling Gordon like, oh, Roseanne is going to take me away. She's going to make me a prostitute, basically. And Gordon is trying to calm her down. Like, don't worry, I have a plan, and you're gonna be leaving Roseanne very soon, and and here again, Selena is like, I don't want anything to change. I just want to come and live with you. I don't want to go to school or anything, and Gordon is trying to pursue her, like saying, don't you want to, live by yourself, live properly?
Yeah.
Don't you want to learn how to read and stuff like that? So yeah.
Yeah, so he's like really trying to encourage her to like clean herself up and protect her. But then I think it's about time you fixed me some lunch. A little casual sexism.
Yeah.
Like what? So he's doing all this like lifting up the poor underclass, but then he's also like, come on, woman, get in the kitchen one last time. Damn. The 60s are wild, man. It was a wild time. But yeah, then she goes digging for the music box that she hid under the tree. And that's when Roseanne comes out to the park and says, Selena, where are you? And then she sees Gordon with Selena. And Gordon is trying to protect Selena from going with Roseanne.
Basically Roseanne like slaps and pushes Selena, and Gordon runs to help Selena. Right. And then Roseanne pulls like a Karen and says, don't touch my kids, and then Gordon like basically does this.
He like touches her.
Yeah, like slaps her hand when she touches Selena, right. And she's like, did you see that? He hit me, he struck me. Right. And even the white people in the park know what kind of bitch Roseanne is, and they're like, we know you're not a good mom. Yeah. We know you're full of shit.
If it's like the 1960s and even the whites aren't standing up for
Yeah.
a white woman in distress from a black man, that's when you know, like, you've hit rock bottom. You're
Yeah.
probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Yeah, like even old Pa is like holding Roseanne, like saying, you know, she's gone now. Like, let
Yeah.
her be.
Yeah. So this was actually a really cool scene, and I actually thought it might end in tragedy when she said, "Did you see that? He struck me." I mean, that's still it. Still could have went left. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Gordon is actually very lucky it did it because Roseanne is just that toxic and odious.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. He ends up running away with the little white girl in front of all the whites, and old Pa's like, "Come back, Roseanne," and none of the whites stop, Gordon from running off with his snowboarding queen. So, yeah, Dr. Umar. I need to watch this film with Dr. Umar. If we pick one movie to watch with Dr. Umar, it's got to be this one.
Or Guess Who's Coming Back. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
That one he was really going to hate, but this one, we got to say, come on, Dr. Umar. How you going to hate on this, brother? Anyway, so this was actually really cool, man. But yeah, he said, what are you? Yeah. So anyway, a few hours later, I think it's the same day.
Yeah.
She's sitting in the apartment in the dark, right? And Gordon's asking, like, what are you doing in the dark? And he says, they're sending a whole school bus out for you to come and get you. And so, yeah, I think Selena then asks, can she marry Gordon?
Yeah, she's like, are you married or something? She's kind of questioning why Gordon doesn't want to be with her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, are you asking why I'm not marrying you? Mm-hmm. And she's so enthusiastic about it. She's like, you don't have to ask. You just marry me. Wow. You could just marry me. And he takes her like to the living room and kind of explains it to her, like, what is platonic love? Mm-hmm. And he's like, look, there are many kinds of love. And there are loves that doesn't end in a marriage, and our relationship is like that. We don't have a marriage type of love. Mm-hmm. And Selena's like, I don't see what's the problem with it. And Gordon is like, there are many things that could go wrong with our, marriage or our relationship. And Selena was like, here, I know everything there is to know about you. I know you're colored. I know you're beautiful. Mm-hmm. And Gordon is like, what? Mm-hmm. What? How did you, how did you know? Yeah. And I mean, they don't really dwell on it that much here. And she just kind of says, like, I don't care, basically. And the only thing I think they talk about it after this is Gordon asks, like, how did you learn about me being Black? And she says, oh, it was Roseanne.
I think this was really done well, but it gives off a little bit of magical Negro in the truest sense of magical Negro. Like, Black characters are meant to show white people how to be better white people, right? And that was like the way he's like leaning down and talking to her like a child and stuff like that. I would have, it does sort of put it in place concretely how Gordon saw Selena, like a child to be taught. But it gives off a little bit the sense like, Gordon's an asexual being who exists only to do humanitarian work. And it's also the best thing about this movie in the sense that he is a man who's in control of his loins and in control of his desires, right? And can see past just the flesh. But it also gives across like, a type of Black man that feels like, he's incomplete and not fully fleshed out. And it just makes me think about what James Baldwin said, like, Sidney Poitier has been the perfect Negro, but has been called a nigger in every film. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show like how deep this thing is. Like, you could be perfect like Gordon, but still, the Roseanne's watching this film and say, that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I thought about this scene. Any comments?
I mean, I also like the scene, and I think it was done well as well, because I think it wasn't just only about like, oh, Gordon explaining like, we can't be together because I'm Black and you're white. Mm-hmm. It was like, there are different things why we wouldn't work out. Mm-hmm. You're younger, I'm older. Also, you know, people are racist. And also on top of it, you've been like sexually assaulted and it feels like I'm taking advantage of you if I do this thing, you know, all sorts of different things that intersect. And it would make for them to be together romantically hard. And I feel like that's encapsulates it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like, you know, the fact that she knows that he's black, it's not like a big blowout scene. And I like that as well.
Yeah. I think, you know, there's so many ways to interpret this, like, you know, your interpretation, my interpretation. I get a lot of what you're saying too. And I agree with that. Like when I look at this film on just that emotional surface level fable stuff. And I'm not saying like that's like not a deep concept either, like looking at it like that way either. I just also think about like the social stuff outside of the film, like what the story is saying, you know? But yeah, she's separating from Gordon, and it's a really sad goodbye. Like if this film doesn't make you cry, this part might make you cry. I would say the go away, the separation, right? And so yeah, Gordon says, "How did you learn about me?" It was like Roseanne, of course, like you said earlier. He realizes that she doesn't have the music box, and I think he runs downstairs to try to give it to her, but she's already long gone, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts on this film?
I really like this film. I think it's timeless. I think it's very enjoyable. I think it's kind of like a family movie you can watch with your children and your whole family. Like, you know, because it's also like lightly touches on the social, political constructs without really, you know, going to the deeps of it. But you can talk about it and interpret it and talk about like how these things were and how maybe they still are as well. And obviously, you know, the actors and actresses, they were all really, really good. Sidney Poitier is like an icon. Yeah, I give this movie like a 10. I'm gonna give 10? It a 10. Yes,
it is. I like,
couldn't find anything.
It's hard to find faults. There are a few plot holes. I would say, like the walking stick. You know what I'm saying? Some of the choices that Gordon makes, like teaching her to feel around the world. I know it's like they're done well, but there are a few little plot holes in this thing that are a bit silly. I give it a 9.5. It's a nearly perfect film. It's hard to find any faults in it, really. Very well acted, very moving. Classic, like you said, good for all ages. Like you can watch it as an adult and appreciate it. But I also think it's appropriate to show to kids too. Yeah. Maybe a little bit older, you know, 12, 13, maybe young adults, I would say. But yeah, it's still a really good movie. And I highly recommend it. And I think it's better than Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. So yeah, this is episode 139 or 140. I forgot. 139, I think, of Simon and Acting Movie Reviews. We hope you enjoyed it. You got any films you think we should review? Put them in the comments section. We'll try to tackle it. Y'all be easy out there, and peace.